Alright everyone, how you doing? I'm Unruly and welcome back to Unruly Horror. Now today is a different video. This is a video, an idea I've had for a while, I just haven't really got round to doing it. So I thought, hey, why not do it now? This is how I got into horror films and why I love the genre. Okay, so to understand how I got into horror films, you have to go all the way back to about... Sorry about that. That's going to go off a few times. I've waited for the council. I was bored, so I said, why not do a video? So anyway, cast your mind all the way back to 2004, 2003, I think. So when I was about 7 years old, 8 years old, 2003, 2004, and, you know, the TV did like adverts showing what was going to be shown. Like on the night time, the films, I seen the advert for Shaun of the Dead, one of the Child's Play films, I can't remember which one. I just remember seeing Chucky. And then one, I remember seeing the Dawn of the Dead remake. This is the one I seen. And I liked it. I liked the way they ran at the door. You know, when they're fast running one. And so, woke up one night, when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I should have looked this up when Dawn of the Dead remake had its TV premiere. But anyway, woke up. Can't remember what time it was. I think it was like 11 o'clock when I looked at the TV. And when I turned the TV on, Dawn of the Dead was on, the remake, and it was when they're outside and they see like the zombies walk and one of them's missing the arm and it's the fast running one and they're like, oh no, we have to get in. And I thought that was awesome because, you know, all the zombies are running but there's this one sprinting and it's like, oh, are they going to get them? My 7 or 8 year old mind was blown by this. I was like, what? And anyway, I watched it for an hour before I heard my mum go to the toilet and I was like, go to sleep. So yeah, because if she had found me watching that at 12 o'clock, midnight, she would have went down my throat and screamed at us, what are you doing? That was my first experience with horror, and I liked it, and I think that's where I got this love of zombie films from. Fast forward again to, if I remember correctly, go to hell. It was my mate's 13th birthday. It was my friend's 13th birthday. It was in December. I was 12. So that would mean 2008. December 2008. I'd never seen a horror film all the way through at this point. I had only ever seen a bit of Dawn of the Dead. And my friend was obsessed. My friend liked Chucky. I didn't know what that was. I just heard it was a doll. I hadn't seen the film of Chucky. And he says, come on, we're going to watch Child's Play 2. And I was like, And I was like, okay, if I have to. And his 7-year-old brother had like a Chucky doll upstairs. And luckily nothing happened to that apart from hide and seek one time when I nearly shit myself when I forgot about it. I'm hidden underneath his bed and I turn and it's fucking Chucky looking at us like, fuck. So anyway, watch it. And I thought I was going to be terrified. I enjoyed it. I was like, ooh, this is good. So Child's Play 2 was when I first watched a horror film all the way through and thought, you know what, I like this. But I was terrified because I thought the doll upstairs was going to come down and murder us all. I was 12 and I was starting to get, a bit of anxiety back then. Always a worrying kid. And obviously, well, that night I had a nightmare of Chucky because it didn't help. Didn't help things that I'm asthmatic, by the way, if you didn't know that. So I go party, watch Child's Play, go home. Go home for about 8 o'clock. By 9 o'clock, I was in hospital because I couldn't breathe. Went there, they gave us a nebulizer, sent us back home. Still couldn't breathe. Still struggling for breath. So at 11 o'clock at night, I was in hospital and I had been admitted for a lung infection. I got a lung infection. I went to that. Honestly, you can't make it up, you can't make it up. You go, you watch your first horror film, you're scared of it, it makes you think you're going to have a killer doll that's going to come from upstairs and kill you, and you go and get admitted to hospital for 3 days for a lung infection. Oh, that was... I think that's why for a year I had on and off dreams sometimes about hunting Chucky, but Chucky hunting us in school and everything or at home. And one of the wildest dreams I had was, I can still remember them because they were weird, some of them. Like one of them, I was hunting for him in my house because I heard noises all day, and he comes in with a machete and I chuck a chair down the stairs at him and it knocks his arm off. One of the weirdest ones I had though was in the bedroom, and apparently Chucky was apparently that big, a wee little fella, and I had him trapped underneath a glass, and I knocked the glass over. So I'm under my bed going, "Where are you?" That was definitely one of the funniest nightmares about Chucky I've had. And that kind of put us off horror films. Because I didn't watch a horror film, I was scared of them. I would see them on TV and I'd be like, "Nope, I'm not watching you." Funny, isn't it, that I now own 219 horror films, including Child's Play, Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky, and I've got Child's Play 2 and 3 coming. Hopefully sometime in the next week. I don't know, I'm going to have to wait and see. Amazon will cancel anything, they'll say that it's lost. Like they lost one of my DVDs last month and I had to get a refund, so I ordered it again. Luckily it's coming this time. And well, I got put off horror films. And I can't remember when I started thinking, you know what, I'm going to start watching them again. I just remember going into CEX. Oh no, I tell a lie, I do know what got us back in them. Saw got us back into them because I'd heard so much about them from my mates at school. One of them, I even used to ask about them, like what happens in number 1, 2, 3, 4, and I heard so much I had a vivid image of what it was like. And by the way, what I imagined what Saw was nothing like it. It was tame, according to my image. I had an image of some fucked up shit about Saw, but no. So that was when I was 12. So when I was in that, like I said, I'm on about Saw when I was 13, 14. And I'm trying to remember when. Because it was when my dad had lung cancer. And my dad had lung cancer for a year and a half, almost 2 years. Nearly 2 years till he died. So 12, I was 14, I was 15 the year he died, I was still 14, so I would have been 14, I'm going to guess, 14, no, just nearly 13, about to turn 14, I'm going to guess, because I'm useless at years, especially that period when, you know, there's something traumatic happening. Like I'm having a traumatic experience right now, trying not to rip. I'm waiting for an emergency plumber, 4 hours up to take. So I'm doing this video. So I seen me half brother, because that's when my dad was living. My half brothers. He had Saw. I says, "Can I borrow it?" So I borrowed it. I watched it, and even though now I would say that's one of the slow Saw films, which it is, I enjoyed it. And I would say me borrowing Saw and hearing about it at school got us back into the horror genre. Genre. So I liked it, give it back, and a few weeks later I went to CX in Shields, and looking at the DVDs I got Saw. Now, I got Saw, it just says Saw. I knew what the DVD cover looked like, the severed foot. This one didn't have a severed foot, this one had 2 severed fingers. And I thought, ooh, different cover case. Can you guess where this is going? It was Saw 2. And I thought, as soon as I put it in, and I started watching it, I'm going, ooh, this is different. And I remembered what my mate said, that, ooh, it's Saw 2. And so then I goes back and I buy Saw. And by the time by 2010, July 2010, that's when we went to France, and I was in the Army Cadets then. I had all 6 Saw films that I had watched a load of times. So within the space of a few months, I bought all the Saw films, watched them over and over, because I liked them. And I even remember 2 weeks after my dad had died, Saw 7 came out on DVD. That's what I remember. It's funny how you link traumatic events to when films came out. And yeah, that's what got me started in the horror genre, because ever since then I've bought DVDs, I've sold them when I've had money trouble. But now, should I give you a sneak peek of next month's video? Because next month is my 1-year anniversary of posting my horror DVDs. Now, back then, I had 170 horror DVDs. Now, I've got 219, and when this month's Amazon parcel comes, I'll have 223. I think I'll give you a bit of a sneak peek. So, hold on. You ready? So, Sorry about that, I accidentally clicked end recording when I flipped back. But yeah, yep, I believe the next franchise I got hooked into was The Conjuring. And you know what? I don't regret it, because I've seen a lot of good horror films. I've met a few people I know because of horror films, which is awesome. The love of horror films, talking about them. There's a lot of YouTubers I watch mainly because of the horror channels. Shout out to Ryan. Was it Ryan Hollinger? Ryan Hollinger, Dead Meat, and Found Flicks. You guys were the 3 horror channels I started watching first. I've been around since Dead Meat first started. Like, I think Friday Chapter 3 was my first kill count. Yeah. Why I love the genre is, give me a drama film with a leprechaun running around killing people looking for gold. Give me a romance film where the main character is wrapped up in bandages and kills people. The Invisible Man. Horror's a genre where you go, what do I want to do? Anything. There's been films about gingerbread men, snowmen. There's films about a mist. Well, that's more of a book. Well, there's a film as well. Just looking at the stack I'm using as a stand, because my dumb brain keeps forgetting to buy one. Give me, you've got a shark attack. You've got a kid who's meant to be Superman, but turns out to be a villain and starts killing people. Brightburn. You know, even like some of like my short film Dark Forest. Give me a film about a bunch of teenagers going into a forest and accidentally wake up a vampire and they get killed. The short script I saw to Smoggy Productions. Give me a short film about a babysitter and a 15-year-old girl talking about an urban legend in their street, only to find out they're only talking about it because it's true, and they were laughing about it because they are the monsters and they kill and start eating her friend because they're cannibalistic creatures. I mean, you can't make that a, what do you call it, a coming of age film. Drama is so outlandishly outlandish, you know. There's 80s camp horror films which are just glorious. You've got Suspiria, which is an artwork of lighting and I can't say the name of the Italian Gelano thingy. You know, you've got those films, man. They are good, you know. You've got the unofficial Dawn of the Dead sequel by Dario Argento. I'm going to butcher names, I'm sorry. You know Zombie 2? I mean, you can do so much. Show me a comedy found footage film. I know some exist, but they don't really live up to a horror found footage film. Like if Afflicted, which, I mean, I know I've talked about a lot in the last few videos, but I love Afflicted. Give me just a horror film on anything. There's a horror film about a dog, Cujo. You've got a horror film about nuns, Saint Agatha. I mean, horror is such a large genre with lots of subgenres that you can pick and choose from, and it's just the horror community. It's awesome. It's widespread. Heather Langenkamp met her husband, and they are now special effects on horror films. They did Cabin in the Woods. Horror is such a very close-knit community because it's inclusive. So diverse, the films. I mean, go get Shudder. Go get Shudder and watch the documentary about the blaxploitation horror films. You will learn so much about the value of horror films in the 80s and all that. It's just awesome. I have a passion for it. That's why I write horror. That's why I love horror and I write it. And I would say directed it, I assistant directed it. It's awesome, man. If you had to watch a horror film, you can just enjoy it. You can be scared, you can laugh, you can do lots of things in it. You know, I love it. So anyway guys, that's today's video. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope I haven't ranted on too much about this. I'm Unruly. Have a nice